So we'll watch this closely. It looks like we will see 3 days in a row of triple-digit temperatures by Tuesday, back in the mid-90s. So breaking daily record highs this weekend.
We're the Street Trust, and we're tired of normal. Because normal costs us time and money stuck in traffic. Normal means that the hot days keep getting hotter. Normal abandons the need of low-income communities and communities of color. And normal threatens the health and safety of everyone who uses our streets. Here at the Street Trust, we believe our future can be extraordinary. And when normal isn't working, we take to the streets and become the change we want to see. In our streets, we fight for equity and justice. We foster creativity and imagination. We champion prosperity and innovation. And we celebrate the magic that happens when we slow down and stop to smell the roses. In our streets.
اینجا خیابان‌های ما هست.
Ojuana titiware.
Estas son nuestras calles.
And these are our streets.
Normal doesn't make the cut. These are our streets, and we deserve way more than normal. Join the Street Trust in saying no to normal. And let's make our streets extraordinary together.
Joining us now is Madi Carlson, the Education and Engagement Director with the Street Trust in Portland, Oregon. Madi, thank you for joining us.
Hi, I hope you can hear me okay. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah,
okay.
It's a little
Sorry,
loud,
we're at a cafe a block away from the Downtown Transit Center in Salem, Oregon, our state capital. And what we did this year is we took a 2.5-hour multi-transit trip from Portland to the state capitol to show the routing that someone using a mobility device would have to take to come testify at the state capitol. Because the Amtrak out here is not very accessible and mobility device friendly. So we started in Lloyd District at the Jan Campbell Accessible Transit Center, which is brand new. And we caught the Max light rail across the street. We rode that to a city outside of Portland, to the Beaverton Transit Center, where we walked across the street and up an accessible ramp to the west, which is a commuter rail, which is wonderful and plush. We took that down to Wilsonville, and then we hopped on a 50-minute Smart 1X bus to come here. And so it worked really well, but it does take 2.5 hours, 3 transit lines, whereas driving 50 miles would take less than an hour, but that's not an option for everyone. But yeah, it worked really well. TriMet, our local system, and I have a TriMet employee here with me who'll come talk for a second, is free. So all of the TriMet services, so the Max, the buses, and the West that we rode were all free today for Transit Equity Day. We call it Rosa Parks Day here. The 1X bus that we rode was not free, but that connects up with a Wilsonville and Salem transit system called SMART, and all of their other buses besides the 1X is free. So on our way back, rather than wait for the West to be running, because it is a commuter rail, so it only runs early in the morning and later in the afternoon, we're going to be taking 5 buses to get back to Portland, and we'll be using one of the always free SMART buses. So pretty excited about that. One thing that we've run into is that most of the vehicles that we were on only have spots for 2 mobility devices. So that makes it a little harder to make this trip fully accessible, because you don't know if those spots will already be taken or not. But the lifts are all operational. And I am gonna let one of my volunteers who's come along introduce himself and tell you a little bit about his transit story, and we'll rotate through as long as we've got time for.
Sounds good. Welcome.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Bakari. Nice to meet you. My name is Nselo Berry. I'm part of the Multnomah County Public Health, the REACH team, so Racial Ethnic Approach to Community Health. I'm one of the built environment specialists, and I do a lot of work with the African American and African migrant refugee populations. And one of the big things that we're really emphasizing in the county is that we want people to use public transit and through active transportation, whatever that means. So walking, rolling, biking, just getting on public transit. But some of the biggest barrier is safety for a lot of folks, right? So feeling safe when they jump on public transit, timely as well, and just also having to engage in community within the spaces too. So this trip is the first time I came out to Salem. I'm an avid public transit rider myself. But this was like one of the largest journeys I had within Oregon to come out here to the Capitol. But nonetheless, it was a really, really cool experience to see all the different things, the ways that people can get out here. Obviously, for me, just being an able-bodied person, there's a privilege that comes with that. So recognizing kind of the differences for other folks that do not. My father, for example, is a W amputee, so he does things a little bit differently. And so that's something that we would have to potentially be considered and quite frankly be lucky, and hopefully that there's enough space for if he wants to get onto a bus in order to load his wheelchair up into the spaces there too. So those are things that I've taken into consideration, but I'm a big proponent of public transportation. I think there's a lot to be gained there, and getting away from kind of the petrol vehicles is better, I think, for us as a society and things like climate change and of that sort. But also we will make it practical for folks too, and make it so that people can get to the place they need to get to. They can be safe on those places, and also they can enjoy community on those places as well, because I think it's another part about public transit that kind of gets lost in the shuffle. We get from point A to point B, but we forget there's a lot of stuff in between. And I think that's one thing that when we're doing our traveling, we just took the time just to take a look at the spaces around us, traveling through different cities and different neighborhoods and taking some pictures too along the way. So really privileged experience, and glad to be a part of this group with working with the Street Trust for as long as we do within the county too. I'll pass along to one of my colleagues, Cindy Shepard, and she can talk about her experience on this journey.
Absolutely. Hello, Sandy.
Hi, my name is Cindy Shepard, and I'm the communication specialist for the REACH program. And yeah, I think echoing what other people said, I just wanted to take part in this because I've never taken public transit to Salem, and I wanted to see what the process is like. It's great that there is this option, but as Ms. Salo was saying, that is definitely going to look a little bit different. It can be a little complex navigating. So this is both cool to see how to do this, but also recognize that we definitely have space for improvement. We can make more direct routes so that people can get where they need to go quicker, and that they can actually feel like it is easier for them to use this. We do want to advocate for people using transportation, public transportation, because for me, I'm a big proponent, for protecting the environment. And part of that is getting away from car-centered societies. But the only way we can do that is if we make our transportation systems more direct, more accessible, and just easier to navigate, and cheaper as well if possible. So I just wanted to see what this process was like, and it's really cool being able to do this.
Absolutely. And we thank you all for joining us and taking that long 2.5-hour ride to the state capitol. I know that must have been wild, but it definitely tells us about the need for more equitable and more efficient public transportation. But any lessons learned that you could show someone, and especially who hasn't taken public transportation as you have?
All right, go ahead. I'm gonna just.
Good morning. Thanks for having us today. Hi, so my name is Kitty. I am from TriMet. I'm part of the community engagement team, and thanks to Maddie for coordinating this event today. It's like so enlightening, and so it's great to see like the relativity of how this works. I haven't done this trip all the way down to Salem myself, even though I ride TriMet every day. And it was really helpful to really like be in the grounded and look at it through the lens of someone using a mobility device, and like be really on the lookout for all those little things like accessible bathrooms and how far is the ramp from the platform, and lighting, and like all those little things that a lot of folks may being able-bodied take for granted. And as being part of TriMet, we are constantly always looking for ways to improve. And because TriMet being in the Portland metro area and then Salem being in different jurisdictions, it's kind of like how you piecemeal this trip together, and really looking for ways that we can make this a smoother transition for folks. And because like, as Maddie mentioned, on our way back, we're taking 5 different transfers to get back to Portland, which can be awfully intimidating for a lot of people. And we want to make sure, like, how can we improve our systems? How can we process our communications within jurisdictions to help make trips like more smooth and more accessible, just for every rider, not just folks with like using mobility devices or have accommodations. So, but yes, I think this has been a great experience, and I hope we get to do more of this. We also have a travel training program at TriMet, which actually shows folks how to take transit from point A to point B, and they actually ride with them for a couple times to practice until they feel confident and ready for it. So I would love to see this particular journey mapped out in that program as well. But thank you so much. And actually we have another volunteer that's here to share their story too. But thanks for having us.
Go ahead and bring them out. Bring them out.
Hi, I'm Steve. I'm just a volunteer helping out today. I'll be really brief. I think something that people overlook is how accessibility improvements help not just the people with mobility issues, but everybody. So anyone who knows who's tried to maneuver a stroller or a shopping cart onto the bus, or even just get on there with a backpack. I mean, even things as simple as cuts in the curb so you can go from the street level to the sidewalk level with your bike and get your bike on the bus are really big improvements for everyone. And with that, thanks for being here.
Absolutely.
I just want to say hi one more time. And I did want to point out the reason why we are broadcasting from an accessible cafe half a block away from the downtown transit center instead of in the Capitol is because the Capitol is under construction. So the bus stop still stops at the front of the Capitol, but the entry is accessible with a ramp, but it's around the back. So it's essentially a 3-block walk. And I didn't want to bring everyone so far away. So it would have been quieter, I think, but this is a really nice accessible cafe. And hopefully we will do a repeat and get booked into the community room next time where it will be quieter, or broadcasting from what Kitty mentioned within the new TriMet Jan Campbell Accessible Mobility Center. There's an amazing practice area with ramps, practice ramps, and a practice bus to put your mobility device in. And it's really nice. And I'd love to live stream from there just to show it to folks maybe this time next year. But thank you so much for letting us join the live stream. And we have learned a lot and documented a lot from our process down here. And we will on our many multi-bus trip back to Portland that we can't even start for 2 hours because that's the lull before the next 1X bus operates on its way back northbound.
Absolutely. Well, I wish y'all much luck at the Capitol and on your journey back. But thank you so much, Madi Carlson from the Street Trust. Definitely follow them at thestreettrust.org. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.